Tada, everyone. Good morning and greetings from Tallinn, the capital city of Estonia. Old Estonia. It's actually kind of funny. Now I look at that sign, you can see there used to be an E, but the E looks like it's been kind of taken off, but the indentation it left is still there. So I guess it's supposed to say Old Estonia, but it says Olde. It still looks like Olde Estonia. So I'm here on the central square of Tallinn, and as you can see by the clock in the church there, it is about 20 minutes before 10 o'clock in the morning, and Tallinn appears to be a very European city, and by that I mean that it does not appear to have opened yet, even though it's almost 10. I don't know what time most of these places open, but clearly it is not now. So yeah, I have been here before. So what I'm planning to do here is do like a whole tour of the three Baltic states, to wit, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. I have done this tour before, but I didn't film it last time because I didn't really have much to say. But I had to take some vacation. You get a certain number of vacation days per year, and I had 4 vacation days remaining, and I had to use them before the end of March, so I thought, okay, I'll just take a small vacation here in the Baltic states, since this is a place where one can relatively inexpensively find lodging. These little dove or pigeon statues seem to be a symbol of the city, because I've seen them in a couple of other places as well. So yeah, I'll just say right off the top, this should be a fairly low expectations kind of trip, because I don't like saying bad things about other people's countries. A couple of times in the past, I've made negative statements about some of the places I've traveled to, and at the time I just considered that being honest. I just considered that expressing my honest opinion about where I was, but I realized that is very hurtful to people who live in those places, to see some guy on the internet, some stupid tourist who doesn't know what he's talking about, just going to a place and trashing it and saying, I don't like it here. So I've tried to avoid doing that in places where my impressions were negative, or not too positive at least. I've tended to just say, I just won't say anything. Better to just not say anything, because there are obviously other people who've made videos of pretty much everywhere in Europe, and pretty much everywhere around the world, in fact, by now. You can find them on YouTube. But, so yeah, where's the, I'm actually not sure where the main action here is, because, that was the main square that I started at. And I'm trying to get my bearings. I don't know the city very well. I was here once before, but I don't know it that well, and I'm not sure where exactly the tourist sites are. But in any case, as I was saying, my original impressions of the Baltic states were not extremely negative, they're not bad, but I didn't have a lot to say about them. I found them, to be honest, just a little bit unremarkable, kind of like you go to a place and it's like, it's nice, but not somewhere that I would really strongly recommend that anybody else go. So that's why I want to say right off the top, if you very much like these places, if you feel a strong personal or emotional connection to the Baltic states, be aware that I am going to not say very negative things. I'm not going to say, oh, what a horrible place, I hate it here, because I don't hate it here. It's not terrible. It's just, I don't have a lot to say. So that's why I say low expectations, don't expect too much. The weather here is not particularly cooperative today. As you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, probably can see in the video, it is snowing a little bit. And it is a few degrees, I think it's minus 5 degrees Celsius, which is probably 25 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. And I think it's a little bit unusual for it to be that cold in March. Usually by March it's warmed up a little bit more than that. It's one of the central churches of the city. And yeah, so there's another one of those pigeon dove statues. Old Hansa. Much is made in Tallinn of the fact that it used to be a Hanseatic city. So, in modern times, people tend to think, and I would say rightly so, people tend to think of Estonia as kind of a mixture of Finnish and Soviet cultures, because it is very closely culturally tied to Finland. The language is very similar to the Estonian language is the closest related language to the Finnish language. It's just across the bay from Helsinki, and as for the Soviet side, of course, this was the Soviet Union before the Soviet Union broke up, so there tends to be a lot of Russian influence and a lot of Finnish influence here, but there are also traces of German influence, especially here in the capital city of Tallinn, because Tallinn was, I believe, the northernmost city in the famous Hanseatic League, which brought with it a certain Germanness, certain level of German cultural influence, and Bergen in Norway is, I think, farther north than this, but Bergen was not an official Hanseatic League member. It was, I think, what they called a kontor, which is like a trading partner, but not an official member city of the Hanseatic League. So, so yeah, this was the northernmost official, full Hanseatic city. I'm trying to look over my shoulder because obviously I'm walking in the middle of the street. This is a very low traffic situation. There are not a lot of cars passing through here, but there are enough that it's wise to still look over one's shoulder when they traverse these storied streets of Tallinn. So who's this? This is Jan Koss. I'm afraid I do not know who Mr. Koss might have been, and there's no clarifying information on his statue, so you will have to resort to using Google or Wikipedia to answer that question. There are a couple of significant landmark churches here in Tallinn. We just saw one. This is the other one. And those who have watched several of my travel videos have probably noticed I am very fond of bookstores. So here is a bookstore with the word books in several languages. I don't know what language Raamatut is. Maybe that's Estonian. Books is obviously English. Bücher is German. Libros is obviously some Romance language. Kirjat is, that's probably Finnish. Yeah, I think that's Finnish. Knigi is Russian. Raamatut, again, probably, okay. Since the store is called Raamatukoi, I'm going to guess that Raamatut is Estonian for books. I do not want to get political in this video. I want to avoid any statements about a current charming. About a current event in the world, which some of you might have heard of, which involves a couple of Eastern European countries which seem to have had a bit of a disagreement with each other, unfortunately. I have been in both countries, and I have pretty much exclusively positive memories and associations with both countries, so I really don't want to take a side. I have no dog, I have no side in that particular conflict, even though people will say, I'm sure people will say that I should. But I am going to quite deliberately avoid taking any side in that conflict. I will, however, say, and I know people are not going to like this, having been in several bookshops here in Tallinn last time I was here, it does seem to me that the Estonian literature is a bit underdeveloped because most of the serious books in air quotes, books about science, technology, more thorough works on subjects of academic interest tended to be in the Russian language, and Estonian language books were mainly, novels and things like that, novels that have been written in Estonian, which is fine. I mean, I'm not opposed to novels, but it does seem that the Estonian body of non-fiction literature on, again, scientific subjects, or not necessarily just science, like not necessarily hard sciences, but just like non-fiction in general, seems to be a bit underdeveloped in the Estonian language. I imagine that is a situation which will correct itself with time, since Estonia is now nominally independent. But for the time being, I found that most of the interesting books in the bookstores here were in fact in Russian, and that's not a political statement. It's not meant to represent any particular political bias or stance of any kind. It's simply an impression that I had when I was in the bookstores here last time, which was a few years ago. Perhaps that's changed since then, because again, I assume that will change with time as Estonia develops itself as an independent state. In any case, I am here in Tallinn, and I wonder what this truck is. It looks like, I thought at first it was some kind of a military vehicle with that thing on top, but actually I think it's some kind of agricultural or industrial vehicle. So yeah, Tallinn is a rather small town. I mean, Estonia is a small country. Estonia, I think, has less than 2 million people nationwide. So, fairly small country. And obviously with that comes a fairly small city. So I fear that I will not have a lot to say about Tallinn, or indeed the other places that I go to on this journey. But so here we have the green area in Harju Street. Haljasala Lahendus Harju Tänaval. Zona oddycha na ulicy Harju. Here we have information on the bombing in March 1944, of course, during the Second World War. And here is a more general history of Harju Street. Harju Tänav, ulica Harju. Boy, it is snowing quite profusely here, actually. It's snowing more than I thought it would. Gosh. Alright. I appear to be leaving the old town and coming upon a more modern, more recently developed part of the city. That tends to be the case. These European cities tend to have a very well-defined old town, which ends very abruptly at some sort of ring road, some sort of circling street that circles around the town center, and then beyond that you have the newer construction, the more modern construction, larger shopping malls, more modern apartment buildings, and things of that nature, which is the area that I am traversing into now. So I'll just walk up to this major street here, and that can be our first impressions of the small and sleepy but also quite charming old town center of Tallinn Eesti. That is a very artistic You can see it's being used for security cameras, but it's a very artistic security camera stand. Here's another large square with a large yellow church flanking it on one side. The Meieri Trip, Meyer's staircase. Going up and up and up to places unknown. Perhaps I'll check it out later. And yeah, here we are in a large square with a... Is that a cemetery up there? I'm just wondering because of the cross. It almost looks like it might be a military cemetery or something. That's the impression I get anyhow, but I could be wrong. And yeah. So yeah. Oh, hey, there's a flag there of a certain country, which may be involved in a current event. It may or may not be. Oh yeah, and over there, the street is actually guarded by more of those pigeon dove statues. I wonder what's the story with that? I don't know. There must be a story behind that. There must be some kind of history behind that symbol as a recurring symbol of Tallinn, but I do not know. Oh, this is a carved stone museum. Okay. Apparently not a cemetery as I initially thought, but a museum of carved stone. Very well. I do enjoy a good carved stone. Yes, indeed. I am quite a fan of carving stones myself. And a little bit farther away from where I just was, kind of packed into the northeastern corner of Tallinn's old town, we have probably the largest church of all. So when you approach Tallinn, like when you get close to the city from the outside, there's this one church that really towers above the city. It's very prominent when you're outside the city. But when you're in the city, it's kind of hard to see it because it is not quite in the city center. But I'm pretty sure this is the really big, tall one that stands out when you see the city from a distance. I'm actually going to try to get some distance between me and the church just so we can see it a little bit better from, because when you're standing right next to it, you don't really see it in context very well. So let's try to get a bit of a shot of that from a little farther away if I can. Let's see, let's see, okay, let's try this. Yeah, I think I might be okay here. There we go, there we go, that's a decent shot of the church in context. Get out of the way, there's a car coming. I think down this street there was, yeah, here we go. It's a nice little tower here, kind of also at the edge of the old city. So I'm facing north now, I believe, and so what you're seeing there is the kind of northernmost street that forms a kind of a beltway that forms a border around the old town. And yeah, nice little classic tower there, a nice little architectural touch, little architectural flourish. So a little bit west of the city center, I'm a little bit outside, but not that far outside, but just a little bit west, there is quite a large hill, and on this side we have, I believe this is the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, obviously a very Russian object done in the Russian Orthodox cathedral style. This is some kind of government building. I don't know exactly what it is. It's the it's the Tombealos. It's a okay. It's both. It's a castle, but it's also the seat of the Estonian Parliament, the Riigikogu. Okay, so it's up here on a hill. You can't really tell from here, but we're on a moderately sized hill, again just to the west of the Old Town City Center. So this is the Estonian Parliament building. I guess historically it was a castle. Today it's obviously being used as the Parliament. Estonia's in a kind of difficult position, as the other Baltic states are as well, because I think all the Baltic states have about approximately 1/4 Russian people. Like 1/4 of the people in these countries are ethnically Russian, which does put it in a politically difficult spot, or not exactly, but especially, as I meant to say, especially now. One could liken it to the situation in the USA during World War II, when obviously there was a quite large, not just a small, but a quite significant proportion of the American populace was of German descent, which did create some internal conflict during the First World War, and especially the Second World War. So I imagine that Estonia is in a similar position now, because you don't want to stigmatize your own people just because of their ethnic origin. That would be very, very obvious racism, and it's not their fault what's happening now. But again, I said that I would not make political statements, so I will refrain from doing so. Look at this cool cat here. This guy with the... I thought they were supposed to be sunglasses, but actually they might just be regular glasses. But he's a really cool cat here outside the Estonian Musical Theatre Academy, I guess. So let's see. Is this vehicle here going to... I don't know if they're waiting for me or if... Okay, anyway. So, I'm just coming up on another church here. But there's not only the church here, this is also one of the nicest lookout points in the city. It's a very nice view here over the city, not far from this very spot. If you just go around the corner, next to the Nel Gaiano Cafe, and turn yourself to the left, you will find yourself, as I do now, in the Biskopiaied, the Bishop's Garden, Episkopski Sad. And there's even a toilet there, public toilet for public consumption for people who need to allow the brown train to run its course, or the Yellow River. Both are possible, I assume. And the nice view that I was referring to, which one can enjoy when beholding the beautiful city of Tallinn, is to be found right here, or about 10 meters from where I am right now. There we go. So, okay, it's a bit, actually not much of the city here, because that's a park down there, so you get a nice view over the park. But in the distance you see buildings and things associated with the edge regions of Tallinn. Lovely, lovely place here. Very lovely indeed. I'm glad the sun's shining now. It was snowing quite heavily about an hour ago. I thought I might need to to take a break, but the sun came out. This is going to present quite a slipping hazard because there's the snow on the ground, and as it starts to melt, it is going to present a significant slip hazard, especially on these hilly streets, because some of the streets in Tallinn are rather narrow and hilly. So I will need to exercise extra caution here. But such is life. There again is another of these bird statues. Whatever they may mean, whatever they might be intended to represent. And is this... I don't know if that's a public street. It looks like it might be a private yard, but actually I think it might... I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a public street. But anyway, nice view from the Piiskopi Aied, from the Bishop's Garden. Okay, I was wrong. I said that the other place where I was the nicest view over the city of Tallinn. And then I said there was that little street to the side, and I wasn't sure if it was a private street or what. Well, I decided to explore it. And I'm glad I did, because just down that street and around a corner, or a couple of corners, I found an actual view over the city. That other view was like a view over the park. That was a view to the west, like over the park on the west side of the city. But here we have an actual view of the old town. So... there you go. So there's... actually, that's more of the park. That's to the west. But this is the view to the east, northeast. And so there you can see that's the big, tall church where I was. That's the big church that really stands out, which you can see even from a distance. And here you can see some of those... I don't know if that's... I guess that's the old town walls, actually. I guess these sort of red tile-roofed towers are the watch posts of the old town walls. So yeah, we are a bit outside of the old town here already, but despite that, we got a nice view down from here. Pretty awesome, pretty nice view. And since I'm here, let me get a look at this map here. I guess... oh, Vanalin must mean Old Town. Yeah, it does. Vanha kaupunki, Old Town, Stari Gorod. And there's another one here, just around the corner from where I just was. Just a few steps to the east. There is another nice nice view here of the... of the view toward the east. So you can see in the eastward direction from here, there we go, got a nice view of the couple of the narrow streets of the old town center down there. But to the east there you can see that's the business area, so that's, you know, the new area where the taller office buildings are. I won't be going there today. I mean, it's not really much for tourists, I suppose. Unless you want to get something to eat. There might be some nice food there. Lunch offerings for business people working there in their business jobs. But yeah, I won't be heading out there today. There is a nice looking tower away in the distance there. Might be interesting to get a view from that tower there, but that is unfortunately not going to happen today. We will have to content ourselves with this view of Tallinn, such as it is. Hey, check it out there, too. Two seagulls there just chilling out. Just minding their own business. Well, the one is obviously hoping that I'll get some food. Oh, this guy's coming over. He or she thinks that I'm gonna... No, I don't have any food for you, buddy. I literally do not have any food on me. There's a snow vehicle dutifully trying to clear the newly fallen snow off the narrow streets of Tallinn. Oh. Shaving will... Shave? Wait, what? I have no idea what that's supposed to say. Okay, so I'm here on the other side of the Nevsky Cathedral, and look what I've found. I think this is it, folks. I think we can finish making museums now. This is the Kik Indikok. It's a fortifications museum. It's a museum of fortifications. But this is peak museum right here. Kik Indikok. We don't need to make any more museums after that. This is the end stage museum right here. So on this quiet and rather steep little street near this graffiti telling us to be a riot, there's this Lyhikejag, and there's this store here selling Estonian folk heritage art design stuff. But there's also this nice little side street here, kind of like a medieval gateway, which then passes through to this area here. Yeah, Tallinn's city center is remarkably well preserved. The Baltic states in general are kind of a little bit of a travel through time, kind of a little bit of a trip through history, because also the languages, like not Estonian. Estonian is a Uralic language, I guess a Finno-Ugric language, because obviously it's in the same family as Finnish. But the other two, like the actual Baltic languages, Latvian and Lithuanian, they are, as far as I know, the closest living languages to Proto-Indo-European. You know, there's this theory, I don't know if I should say theory, I mean, I guess it's not really a provable fact, but I guess it's fairly well established that there was a language which is now called Proto-Indo-European, which is allegedly the progenitor of all modern Indo-European languages, which includes most European languages except for the Uralic languages like Hungarian, Finnish, and Estonian, as well as a handful of outliers like Basque and what else? I think there are a few others, but anyway. So, but yeah, in terms of what the Proto-Indo-European languages believed to be, the Lithuanian and Latvian languages seem to be the least innovative, like the least changed languages from those roots. So it's the Balticum is kind of like the land that time forgot. It's always been sort of weirdly isolated. Even when it was part of the Hanseatic League, it seems like it somehow preserved its history better than most other European countries, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm just making my way down this little street here. I'm assuming this is the Spanish embassy based on the prominent display of the Spanish flag there. I guess it doesn't have to be the Spanish embassy, it could just be some building hanging the Spanish flag, but I find it more likely that it is the Spanish embassy. Actually, it doesn't really look like an embassy. Oh, Centro Picasso. Okay, I guess it's not the Spanish embassy. It's just some building to do with Picasso. All right. Picasso. Oh, pick your own asshole. Okay, and here we are back in the lovely city center, having walked down Pikkjalg. I do also have a tendency to focus a bit too much, perhaps, on graffiti. I just find graffiti interesting. I mean, stuff like this I hate. I really hate stuff like this. This is just vandalism. But, sometimes when you have, like, a really wonderful piece of street art like this, like actual art and not just somebody's egoistic scribblings, this kind of thing's wonderful. I think the line "Okay, Queen" is kind of funny because I think that's probably a reference to a meme. I think there is a meme of that name, which was popular, not so much now, but had some popularity a year or two ago. A little statue of a little fawn there, I guess. Maybe it's supposed to be Bambi. Well, I doubt it's supposed to be Bambi, but anyway, yeah, so I mean, I like graffiti when when it's real art, or at least when it has a message. So like here, there's another piece of graffiti. It's just text. I mean, there's nothing special about it. It's just a couple of lines of text. But I just kind of like the message, and I recognize the song that it's from, so as soon as I saw the text, I just right away heard the music in my head. Come ride with me through the veins of history. So just to give you an idea, just so that you don't get the wrong impression, I've been in the old town of Tallinn, which again is very nice. It's very charming, kind of medieval, remarkably well preserved. I don't know what this building is, but it looks nice. But the rest of Tallinn is largely, it's a city like any other. Not a bad city, but nothing that I would describe as really especially remarkable. So if you're ever in the area, if you're thinking about planning a trip to Tallinn, definitely Tallinn offers a very nice old town which is worth a day of walking around, but it is just about one day's worth, and beyond that, I don't know, I wouldn't speaking for myself personally, I don't think that I would spend more than one day in Tallinn, just because, it, as beautiful as it is quite small. It's very compact. In a day you can pretty much see everything that there is to see. So yeah, so I'm mostly done. I'm walking eastbound now. I'm gonna head to the east of the city, get something to eat, and there might be a bit more, but I'm already done with the old town, so we'll see what else we can find here. I have to give the Estonians credit. They are very straightforward. What do you want to name the street? Let's just call him Joe. Yeah, the street's just called Joe. No, that's too boring. Let's just add like a little flair over the O to give it some flavor. Okay, cool. Joe with the tilde over the O. That'll make it look cool. That is just a stroke of genius. That's just a wonderful artistic stroke. I'm on a street named Joe, but he has just a little mark over the O to make it not too boring. So I'm here close to the harbor now. I just got out of this Nautica supermarket here. I just went to the supermarket. Sorry, did I say supermarket? It's not just a supermarket. It's a mall. It's a whole mall with these stores and other stores in it. But I just went to the supermarket here and just got something from there because I didn't need any kind of fine dining. I just wanted something fast to eat. I saw something there that I've never seen in my life before. I went to the cashier, and in front of the cashier's checkout line, there was a sign hanging that said, "Dear customers, the cashier working on this line is deaf. We ask for your consideration, and please consider that service here may take longer than usual because of that." I mean, it wasn't any problem. I didn't talk to the woman. I just gave her my groceries and paid for them. There was no problem, but I just never seen that before. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, so this is the port where big ships like this sail. They go to different destinations. Some of them go to Stockholm. Some of them go to, I think some go to like Copenhagen. I think some, at least some used to go to St. Petersburg. That's probably stopped now because of current events. But the most common destination from here probably is Helsinki, because Helsinki is just across the bay. It's not that far. You can reach it in I think like a 2-hour ship trip. Okay, I've done a bit of walking. I am now about roughly 2 kilometers east of the old town. You can still see that. See what I mean by that really one very prominent church? From here you can very, very clearly see that one church, and the others are not visible. Within the city, within the old town, it's hard to see because it's behind buildings, but from far away you can very clearly see it sticking out. So, I'm here in front of a park, and I'll go into the park in just a second, but I just wanted to show this figure here. This is, as you can probably guess from that, from the styling of the cross on that statue and the base, this is yet another mark of Russian culture, Russian history in Estonia. That is the Rusalka. The Rusalka is a figure well known to those who have played Quest for Glory 4. If you've played the game, then you probably know the Rusalka was a mythical woman, kind of like a mermaid, or maybe a siren is a better. I mean, she's basically the Russian equivalent of a siren. She attracts what she, the Rusalka was reputed to be a beautiful woman, or at least something that looked like a beautiful woman, which would attract men to the water, and then once they got into the water, she would drown them. So pretty much similar to a siren, except sirens were known for their songs. Sirens would sing. I don't think the Rusalka were known for their songs. They just were known for their beauty, their attractive beauty, which they would use to lure men to their deaths. And this is the harbor and the water. This is the, what's it called? Is it called the Gulf of Finland? I'm actually not sure what the official name of it is, but anyway, over yonder in that direction we can see those ships coming in. They're probably coming in from Helsinki, and if you go enough east, farther east from here, you'll get to Russia, St. Petersburg. But yeah, so this is just north of that park there. So to the south is the park, so I'm about to head in there, and we'll see what we can find there. But yeah, never forget the Rusalka. So I'm here just across the street from where the Rusalka is. There you can see her form from the back, and I'm at the entrance to this park here. This is the Tallinn Kadrioru Park. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but it's Kadrioru Park. And I'm just gonna pass through here. It's a nice pretty park on a nice pretty day. The sun was shining quite nicely as I was passing by the harbor. The sun was shining in pretty much full strength, but now the clouds have come out again. But still, it's a pretty day. The snow on the ground makes a nice effect. So we're going to see here in this park, the centerpiece of this park is an old Russian building. I think it's an art gallery now. Before it was, I think before it was some Russian nobleman's hunting lodge or something like that. But today it's an art museum, as far as I know. So, yeah, you can see prominent marks of Russian influence remain on Estonia, and I hope that they don't try to get rid of that. I mean, I know right now the crisis is political in nature, but there have been, even against Russian cultural figures and historical figures, there have been attacks in recent months. Politically motivated, of course, and on the one hand, I understand that people are upset, and not without reason. But I don't think that trying to destroy your own cultural heritage is quite the right way to go about rectifying things. It doesn't have anything to do with the current crisis. But again, I said that I would not make any political or politically motivated statements, and there I go, breaking that rule again. But in any case, we are, or at least I am, I'm almost done with Tallinn, because I have a bus to catch in about an hour, or a little more than an hour, I think, which will take me to Riga. So I will pass through this beautiful park on the way to the Tallinn bus station center, and then that will, I guess, conclude my time in Tallinn for this trip. Like I said, I wouldn't really go drastically out of my way to, I wouldn't go wildly out of my way just to visit Tallinn. But if, like me, you've already seen pretty much every other place in Europe, and you have a vacation coming up and you have nowhere else to go, it's not a bad place to be. It's certainly some nice things to be seen here. I think it makes for a pretty good day trip, but like I said, I wouldn't plan more than one day here. So I believe it's this red building that's coming up. I mean, there are a few buildings here, but the red one to my left, oh yeah, there's a Japanese garden here too. Don't miss that. This red Russian building is the big famous attraction here. But do not miss the Japanese garden if you're here. It is lovely. I'm going to go there in just a sec, but since I'm here right in front of this, or not right in front, but very close to being right in front of this red building, I will get a shot of it now. Nice forest. I mean, it's just a forest, pretty much like any other forest you might find in northern Europe. Not particularly remarkable, but still pleasant. It doesn't have to be distinguished from other forests to be pleasant and enjoyable. And yeah, I did say northern Europe. I know there's sort of an ongoing debate. Does Estonia count as Northern Europe? Some people group the three Baltic states into Northern Europe, other people say it's Eastern Europe. I would posit that it's a combination of both. I mean, like I said, again, nice little stream there. It's nice, I like that. As I said before, this is really a pretty much half and half mixing of Finnish culture and lifestyle and mentality with Russian/Soviet. And it's not bad, actually. I find that it's I personally find it's a combination that goes well together. I actually find the combination goes very well together. So this is the Eesti Kunstimuseum Kadriorg. So the Kadriorg Estonian Art Museum. I would prefer to get a better shot of the front here. I just don't want to disturb this lady with her baby stroller. Alright, let's do this then. So yeah, so this is it. This is the art museum, and like I said, it's an old Russian building. I don't know exactly its history. I'm sure you can find more information about it online. But in any case, See some Finnish modernist art here. Lossikohvik. I think Kohvik is a coffee house, because Kohvik or something like Kohvik is something like that is coffee. So yeah, like a little cafe there. I'm not sure if it's cafe or coffee. It's probably one of those. I don't know what that green building is there. It must have some significance. I don't know, but anyway. But yeah, this red building here is kind of the centerpiece of this park. Kadriorg Park. Okay, I'm going to pause the video here and head back and check out that Japanese garden now. Okay, so I'm back here. So there's the art gallery. There in the distance you can still see Rusalka. She's very, very visible down this path. She's still at her work of tempting men towards the water to drown them. And let's check out the Japanese garden. I need to make just a little bit of haste because I do not want to miss my bus. I think I still have enough time. The bus station's not that far away from here. But since I will be going there on foot, I want to make sure to allow myself enough time, but I think I should have enough time. And if not, it's not the end of the world. I'll just have to take a later bus, I guess. But I do want to just take a moment to capture this Japanese garden in all its beauty, because it is quite, at least for me, it kind of stands out. Like, it is quite a remarkable experience within this peaceful forest park. I'm a little bit surprised at how quiet it's been here in Tallinn. I guess partly because it is early March. It's not tourist season yet. I mean, Tallinn is fairly touristy. It does draw many tourists. But as you can imagine, this far north, tourist season is obviously in the summer. Now, when it's cold and snowy, there's obviously less tourism happening now, but it's also good in a way because it means you can find lodging quite cheaply. I mean, I didn't have to pay much at all for a hotel here. You know, just a basic hotel. I don't need luxury lodgings, but simple hotel room was quite cheap. So yeah, 340 meters is not a very long distance, but it feels longer when you are trying to think of something interesting to say during the intervening time while you are traversing that distance on foot. Mostly out of interesting things to say. If indeed I ever had anything interesting to say, that in itself is probably questionable. But where is it now? It's probably going to be less impressive now too, because it'll be all frozen over. And there's a nice pond. You know, it's one of those Japanese style little gardens with a pond and so on, but it's going to be all frozen over now, so I guess it will probably be less impressive than it was last time I saw it, unfortunately. Come over and see it for yourself. Wait, where is it? I'm not sure. Hold on. I'm just going to check on a certain map app. Oh, it's still farther. Okay. Still farther to go. I thought, what? This looks like I'm getting to the end here. Where's the Japanese garden? No, it's still still just a bit farther than this. Not too much farther, but just a little bit farther. I should have stopped the video. For some reason I thought that I could traverse 340 meters very quickly in like a couple of minutes, but seems to be taking longer than I expected, probably at least partly because of the, well, this is going to be a bald and bankrupt moment. Japani ajad puhkab talvel, kohtumiseni kevadel. I don't know what that means, but if I had to guess, I would guess pretty strongly that it means the Japanese garden is closed, probably because of snow. It's probably closed for the winter. Well, gosh, that's unfortunate. It's a little bit disappointing because, like I said, it was quite lovely. It was one of the standout attractions for me. Well, like I said, come to Tallinn and see it for yourself. And yeah, of course, in all seriousness, it's not really worth coming to Tallinn just to see the Japanese garden. But if you are already in Tallinn, then don't miss this park and don't miss the Japanese garden. Okay, I have made it to the Tallinn bussjam. It's the Nordic bus jam. It's the Tallinn bus station. So here I'm in front of the Ecolines office. Ecolines is, I believe, the biggest bus line operator in the Balkans. In Central Europe, the German Flixbus is well known. But here I think Ecolines is bigger. They offer service to places like Riga, must be Riga, the capital of Latvia. Peterburi is obviously St. Petersburg. Moskva is Moscow. Berlin, Vilnius, capital of Lithuania. Hamburg and Varsovia must be Warsaw, capital of Poland, of course. I don't mean to speak to you people as though I don't mean to speak to you folks as though you're idiots. I don't mean to insult your intelligence by saying where these cities are, but you know, some people may not know. Some people might not know that Riga is the capital of Latvia. But Riga is where I'm going. So yeah, last time I was in Estonia, I stopped in Tartu, which is a city in the middle of the country, roughly. But I won't be going there this time because there's really just not much there. There's very little that I could say about Tartu. And check it out, advertising with a unicorn. Tallinn, kas oled valmis? I have no idea what that means, but it seems to be a very pointed question from that unicorn. So yeah, so last I went to Tartu, but I really couldn't say much about it, so I'm going to skip it this time. I was thinking of going to Pärnu, which is another city in Estonia on the coast, roughly on the coast of the Baltic Sea, but it's also, I've never been there, but it seems quite small to me. I suspect that I also wouldn't be able to say much there, so I'm just going to skip it and go straight to Riga. So yeah, this trip is probably going to be mostly the capital cities, mostly just the three capitals, Tallinn, Riga, and Vilnius of the three Baltic states. I think I might have some extra time in Lithuania, so I might do some extra filming there, but we'll see. But anyway, for now, this concludes my time in Tallinn. Thank you very much for watching. And hopefully there will be future videos of Riga and Vilnius. Until then, take care everyone. See ya.